Bridges, with your host, Doni Miller, connecting our community with information about issues and opportunities.
Hey, good Sunday morning and welcome to Bridges. I'm so glad to have you here today. You know, one of the things we talk about a lot in this culture is how to stay fit. All of us really want to live longer, but we think that we can live longer without living a healthy lifestyle. Well, we've got some folks here today that are telling you, nope, that's not possible, but living healthy is an easy thing to do. We're talking to Sarah Bucher from the YMCA. You're the Director of Healthy Living at the YMCA?
I'm the Director of Healthy Living for the Y, and I'm also leading an initiative called Live Well Greater Toledo.
Well, we can't wait to hear about that. And we also have Jane Moore. You guys know Jane Moore. She's the interim president of the United Way of Greater Toledo. Welcome. We've never had you here before. I wonder why. You've been hiding.
No, I've been here before. It's been a while.
Don't say that. My age is catching up with me on TV. It's great to have you guys here today. How's it going?
Good. It's going very well, thanks.
So tell us about this Live Well initiative. Sarah?
Live Well, the YMCA was funded from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation and YMCA of the USA 2 years ago. We received funding to take leaders from our community to Washington, D.C. to learn about how do we change our community working together. We've got a lot of programs in place, but how can we make that bigger and better and go outside the walls of our buildings and actually create a healthier community? So we want to make, maybe right now the healthy choice is not the easy choice in certain neighborhoods. So
Go ahead.
Let's try to make changes in our community so that we can make the healthy choice the easy choice.
This is a massive undertaking. I mean, your mission itself is daunting. Thanks for sending a copy of that mission statement over to us. Ryan, if we can put that on the screen, it goes something like this. The mission statement is to work together to improve the health and well-being of our community through policy, system, and environmental change that support improved nutrition and physical activity.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, that is. How is this doable?
I think you can make that mission statement very simple. It takes everybody working together and to looking at all levels, from making sure that after school programs have healthy snacks, to making sure there are places to play in neighborhoods, that as we look at being able to purchase food in certain neighborhoods, that there is access to healthy fruits and vegetables as well as other things in neighborhood stores. So it takes everybody working together. You can't just pick out one thing like exercise and say that's going to solve the problem, because that alone probably won't. But that plus all the other things, the infrastructure and access to healthy fruits and vegetables, and just a mindset of how I'm going to live a little bit more healthy, take care of myself. All of that working together should have positive outcomes.
I was really impressed with your objectives as well. To improve access to fruits and vegetables in neighborhoods, Jane, like you just mentioned, to make it easier for people to walk and or ride their bikes in neighborhoods. To improve food choices in public places. That would be amazing if you could get that done, and to improve access to physical activity. So where do you begin with this to make this work?
We begin with our leaders and working on focus areas. So we have certain areas of our community identified as food deserts where there are not healthy food choices, or recreation deserts where there aren't safe places to play or safe places to walk. Maybe there aren't sidewalks in place, so we can work with the city leaders and make sure that when we resurface a road that we do put a sidewalk in place so that kids can walk to school or kids can walk to the playground and play. And we work with the city and make sure that if there is a park, that it is actually safe, that people can use it and go and walk or play with their children and families.
You know, I think people would be amazed that to know that in so many neighborhoods, unhealthy choices are made because those are the only options that they really have. If there's not a grocery store with good food choices, so many people are buying their food from convenience stores.
Correct. And some convenience stores may have some fruit available, but it may be very pricey and it may be not a good quality. So one of the things we can do is work with those convenience stores and neighborhoods, find out where do people shop, what kind of things do they what healthy food do they want to purchase? We don't want to put carrots and apples in a store if no one's going to buy it.
No one's going to buy
Right.
it, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. The vendor, the store, he won't work with you much longer.
No. So, finding buy-in from store owners that really want to work, or maybe certain neighborhoods, a store is not a good place for them. Maybe they'd rather have a farmer's market in their neighborhood. So we're really kind of doing, with United Way, doing some community conversations, and I'll let Jane kind of talk a little bit about how we've come up with finding what the community wants to do.
You know, and the community conversations are really great things. We had somebody else on a few months ago talking about the importance of healthy food choices, and one of the things that I said to that person was, you know, we can make all the healthy choices, all the options available we want, but if people refuse to make those choices, you know, we haven't done much. And I actually that day admitted on public TV my addiction to Twinkies, so which I'm working on. I'm in a recovery program. Okay. So, but let's talk about the community conversations.
Well, we've had a series of community conversations in several neighborhoods, and the first thing that we hear when we ask people what kind of community do you want is safe. If you probe a little bit and see what that means, much of it is what Sarah's talking about. They don't feel like there's a safe place for their kids to play. It's difficult for them to walk to the library or even to the corner store because the sidewalks are in disrepair, or there are no sidewalks, or the street just doesn't make that possible. So we do hear that, as well as access to quality foods. And many people want to do the right thing, but if there's a transportation barrier, or like Sarah said, in many cases the corner store, convenience store may be interested in selling those items, but for them to do so, the demand isn't there yet, that the price has to be high, or the quality deteriorates over a period of time. Right.
Sure.
So it's really important that you take each one of these and kind of do several things at the same time, because like I said, one thing is not going to solve it. I think one of the beauties of this is not only is the leadership team in place that Sarah mentioned, you know, leaders from the community looking at kind of the high level issues. There are people from the neighborhoods on those 4 action teams. They're the ones who own it. They are the ones who need to own it. I don't live in that neighborhood particularly, and so how can I say what's right for them? And so getting that grassroots engagement is really, really important for people to be able to take action and make something happen in their own neighborhood.
Yeah, I think though the conversation about healthy living though is a conversation for every neighborhood, don't you?
Absolutely.
Don't you?
It doesn't
and
matter.
even if we are concentrating on one neighborhood, in Central City, Toledo, for example, you could do exactly what we're doing if you're in a different part of the town or in a different community. This work can be done. It's just engaging the right community members and getting the right people on your team. And we have 4 action teams for our 4 objectives that you mentioned, and those action teams are really where the work is done. So that's where we're asking the community, what do they want to do if we want to improve access to physical activity in their neighborhood? What's important to them, and how can we get them more physically active?
Is the event on the 25th?
Yes.
Your kickoff for this?
Yeah, so we have an event on
that?
Wednesday, July 25th from 6 to 9 p.m. It's open to the community. We want leaders there, we want community members, we want anybody that really can help us make a difference on obesity in our community. The film we're showing is an HBO documentary from a series called Weight of the Nation, and we're actually showing a film focusing on childhood diabetes, or childhood obesity. However, we our initiative is larger. It's not just about children, it's about everyone in our community. So we're doing that, and it's at Owens Corning on Wednesday evening. It's free.
So why should people come?
It's an opportunity to, I think the first segment of this documentary will spur some conversation, maybe heighten awareness, heighten people's knowledge of the Live Well action teams and ways for them to get engaged. So I think it's more an awareness raising, and you'll probably learn something too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I saw the documentary. It's not long. It's not boring. It's not. It is engaging. It's interesting. It's informative. So you're right. You absolutely will learn something, I think. And is this conversation something that you will, the results of this conversation you'll use in planning as you move forward?
Yeah, so the documentary is great, but it's really just a conversation starter. After the documentary, we have a panel, and we want the audience to be engaging with our panel or even with each other to talk about solutions for our community and how we can work together to improve the obesity epidemic here in Greater Toledo. So instead of us going in and saying, we're going to do a corner store right here. We want the audience to say, well, we don't want a corner store. We'd rather have this. We'd rather have a nice park in our neighborhood or something like that. So we're just hoping that, people that really want better neighborhoods that will come to our meeting on Wednesday evening and help us with those solutions.
Yeah. You know what I hope happens on Wednesday evening? I hope that people start talking about personal responsibility in this issue. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about personal choices. And when you really think about the level of obesity in Lucas County, I mean, it's startling. And if you think about the level of obesity among people of color in Lucas County, the last figure I saw was well over 50%, then you have to look at individuals and say, what are you doing? What do you want for your life? What do you want for your family? Right. What do you want your kids to see? So.
And at United Way, our primary focus is graduating kids. Well, kids have to be healthy.
Right.
And their families have to be healthy in order to support them in their academic, journey. And when you talk about healthy living or being healthy, people automatically go to medical services. And really, 99% of what we do for ourselves is outside that doctor's office or the clinic's office.
It's a great point.
It's where we live, it's where we work, it's how we take care of ourselves. And so it's the environment as much as whether or not we have access to physician care.
You're absolutely right. And I think it's also what you require. If you require that your neighborhood have vendors who provide fresh fruits and fresh vegetables, and you use that voice and you say it loudly and often, those people that we elect will pay attention. Those vendors will pay attention because they want to please the community. So sometimes we kind of get what we ask for or what we don't ask for, exactly, as the case may be. So if someone's interested in being a part of you have steering committees, I heard you say. Action teams, thank you. So if someone's interested in being a part of the action team, is that possible?
Yes, that we want people on our action team, and actually, so that's hopefully the end result of Wednesday's event, is that we get more people to join our action team so that we can take action in those communities, in all communities, and make changes in our community.
And anybody is eligible for the action team?
Anyone.
You don't have to have any special credentials or anything like that?
You don't have to live anywhere, you don't have to work anywhere special, just come and
have to have
take
an interest.
Part. Yes,
you have to have an interest. That's right. That's right.
And this is not about the United Way, it's not about the YMCA, it's about the community, and the Y can't change the community all on our own. We need to work together, so that's why we're gathering leaders and community members together to make this change in our community.
But you guys are really to be commended for taking this on. This is huge. This is huge, but the impact to this community will be just so long-lasting and such positive outcomes will occur for what you're doing,
Something you're saying is very important to remember. This is not a program. This is a long-term, lasting change movement. So we're not going to see it overnight. It's not something that's a one-year program and then we're done and we can dust off our hands and say we did it. So this is changing attitudes and behavior.
This is great. This is a movement. You heard from Jane Moore right here. I'm going to show you how to find out more about this program, if we can put that on the screen while Brian's looking for that. I'll tell you, you can call Sarah. She's at the YMCA and the JCC of Greater Toledo. There it is on your screen. There's her address. More importantly, her phone number is 729-8135. Don't forget the community conversation on Wednesday, July 25th at Owens Corning from 6 to 9. I hope to see you there. I'll be there. I hope you are too. Thank you, ladies, so much for attending.
Thank you,
I will
Doni.
see you Wednesday.
All right.
All right. Hang in with us for just a second. We will be right back. We're going to hear about how you can empower yourself through golf. We'll be back in just a second.